Have you ever smiled in front of others while secretly feeling broken inside? Maybe you lost someone you loved. Maybe your plans failed, your money disappeared, or life gave you more problems than you could handle. You tried to stay strong, but deep down you wondered, how long can I keep going? If you have ever felt this way, stay with this story, because an old man named Calvin discovered that happiness does not mean living without pain. In a small village surrounded by green fields, there lived an old man named Calvin. He was known for his wisdom, kindness, and peaceful smile. Every morning, Calvin opened the door of his little wooden house, looked at the sunrise, and whispered, "Thank you for giving me another day." The villagers loved him. Whenever someone felt confused, worried, or hopeless, they visited Calvin for advice. One afternoon, a young man named Daniel came to his house. His face looked tired, and frustration filled his eyes. Calvin welcomed him warmly and offered him a cup of tea. Daniel stared at the old man and asked, "Calvin, how are you always happy?" Calvin smiled gently. "Why do you think I am always happy?" "Because nothing seems to affect you," Daniel replied. "Even when people lose money, their crops fail, or someone becomes sick, you still smile. Don't you ever feel sad?" Calvin looked toward the window. His smile slowly faded. "Of course I feel sad," he said. "I have experienced pain greater than you can imagine." Daniel leaned closer. "When I was young, I had a wife and 2 children. We were poor, but our home was full of love. We did not have much, yet we laughed together and believed we were rich in the things that mattered." Calvin paused before continuing. "One winter, my wife became seriously ill. We had no money for proper medicine. I borrowed from friends, sold the few valuable things we owned, and tried everything I could." His voice became quieter. "But nothing was enough. One morning she passed away." Daniel lowered his eyes. "For many days, I could not accept it," Calvin continued. "I cried, blamed life, and felt as if my future had disappeared. I believed happiness would never return." Calvin looked at his hands. "Then one morning I saw my children sitting beside the cold fireplace. They were hungry, frightened, and waiting for me to guide them." He took a slow breath. "That was when I understood something. My sadness was real, but my children were still alive. Life had taken someone precious from me, but it had not taken everything." Daniel listened without moving. "So I made one small decision," Calvin said. "Every morning, I would find one reason to be grateful." "Did that remove your pain?" Daniel asked. "No," Calvin replied. "The pain remained." Calvin smiled softly. "Happiness does not always arrive as something big. Sometimes it hides in small moments. A kind word, a peaceful morning, a friend who checks on you, or one more chance to begin." Daniel looked troubled. "But what if another terrible thing happens?" he asked. "How can someone stay happy then?" Calvin nodded. "Difficult things will happen again. That is part of life. We cannot stop every storm, but we can choose not to lose ourselves in it." He leaned toward Daniel. "When trouble comes, I remind myself of 3 things. This moment will pass, I should notice what I still have, and one small step forward is better than giving up." That evening, Daniel returned home. His debts were still there, his work was still difficult, and his future was still uncertain. But instead of thinking about everything he had lost, he wrote down 3 things he still had: his health, his mother, and another chance to improve his life. The next morning, he helped an elderly neighbor carry firewood. Later, he repaired a broken fence for a poor family. His problems did not disappear, but something inside him changed. He no longer expected life to become perfect before allowing himself to feel peaceful. He began noticing the good moments that had always been around him. Whenever Daniel felt overwhelmed, he remembered Calvin's words, "This too will pass." Soon, other villagers noticed the change in Daniel. He was calmer, more helpful, and less controlled by his problems. The lesson spread throughout the village. People began helping one another, sharing what they had, and appreciating small blessings. The village did not become free from pain. It simply became better at facing pain together. And Calvin's wisdom remained in everyone's heart. You cannot control every problem, but you can choose where you place your attention. Sometimes happiness begins with one small reason to be grateful. So, if life feels difficult today, ask yourself, what is one good thing I still have? It may not solve everything, but it may give you enough strength to take the next step. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more and comment your thoughts and ideas for the next video below.